Hey guys, it's Ashley Simone here. I am back with another video. I want to talk about some miracles that Jesus did in the life of Peter before they even really started walking. And I took some notes on it, and it touched me, so I wanted to share it with someone else, and so that it may touch them also. But in Luke, I'm sorry, y'all. I should have had this written down. But in Luke chapter 4, verse 38, the first miracle is when Jesus went to Simon's house, or Peter's house, whichever one y'all want to call him. I'll say Simon, but he went to Simon's house, and Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a fever. And it says, now Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever, and they asked Jesus to help her. So he bent over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. She got up at once and began to wait on them. So this happened before Jesus was walking near the Sea of Galilee, beside the Sea of Galilee. And I feel like Jesus healed his mother-in-law, not only because she needed to be healed, and that's what he does, but I feel like he specifically put this in the book of Luke, because if he didn't heal Peter's mother-in-law, and he called Simon or Peter to follow him and be a disciple, I feel like that would have been something that Peter would have been worrying about as he was on this walk with Christ. And I really believe that's not the only reason why he saved his mother-in-law, but I know that has something to do with it, because Jesus wouldn't want Peter to be worrying about anything, and a loved one being sick is something that you don't want. You wouldn't want a loved one being sick and you're out in the field just working and trying to make a difference in the world, and you got to worry about what's going on back home, if everything is great or not. So that leads me to the next miracle, when Jesus was walking along the Sea of Galilee. And you can also find this in Luke chapter 5, verses 1 through 11. So it says, as Jesus walked along the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Peter and Andrew. He got into Peter's boat after Peter and his brother were just out all night fishing and didn't caught anything. But Jesus got into their boat, and he wanted to get in their boat so that he can teach the people from the boat, because there was a lot of people out there, and everybody wanted to be around Jesus and hear what he had to say, but it was just too much of a crowd. So he got into Peter's boat and he taught the people from there. And after he got done speaking, he told Peter, he said, put out into the deep waters and let down the nets for a catch. Peter said, Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything, but because you say so, I'll let down the nets. And right there in just those two scriptures, I kind of reworded them a little bit, but even though Peter had already worked hard all night fishing, he still had faith and believing in what Jesus told him to do, and he still went out there, even though he'd been out there all night fishing, and he know good and well ain't no fish out there. So like, why would he even want to go back out there? But because he believed in Jesus and what he said, he went back out and put them nets down. And when they had done that, they caught They caught so much fish in those nets, the boat started sinking. Peter had to call out to one of his workmates or friends or whoever else had a boat. He had to call out to them to come get some of the fish because his boat was sinking. That's how much of a that's how much fish Jesus was able to give to Peter just for obeying what Jesus told him to do. Because he could have been like, no, I'm not going back out there. I already been out there. Why would I do this again if I already been out there? And sometimes we go through situations like that in life where we had already prepared ourselves or went out to accomplish something and we ain't got nothing. And nothing, we didn't get anything. It was like a failed mission. So it took a lot of strength for Peter to even be like, all right, I'm going to go. But just so happened Peter had this faith in Jesus and believed in what he said to him. So he went out and he did it again. This time he went with Jesus. How could you fail if you're following Jesus? If Jesus is with you, how could you fail? You're not going to fall. If you are walking in the path that God has put you on, he is with you. He will not let you fall. He will see that you make it to the other side. He's not going to let you fall. Just trust and believe in him and keep going no matter what. Even if you have done this 1,000,000 times. Did you do it with God? Did you do it with Jesus before? Or was you doing that on your own? And sometimes God will allow us to go on these so-called failed missions, but they're really not failed missions. Those are test of your faith. Those are strengthening you to become who he has called you to be. Nothing is a coincidence. Nothing is done in vain. It all has a lesson behind it. You just have to be paying attention. You just have to have your eyes open and your ears open to hear and see from God, because he is talking. You just got to pay attention. So when Peter saw all this fish that he had caught, Peter fell to his knees and he was telling Jesus, go away from me, for I'm a sinful man. But y'all, in the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 23, it says, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We are not perfect. I really don't think God made us to be perfect. We shall strive to be perfect and be like Jesus, but we're not going to be perfect. That's part of the reason why Jesus died on the cross for our sins, because we live in this flesh. But the thing is, we have to strive. We have to keep going. We have to keep getting back up and chasing after what is right and what we know is right. And in chapter 3, verse 10, it says, none is righteous. No, not one. No one. And then Jesus said to Peter, do not be afraid. From now on, I will make you fisher of men. And they followed Jesus. So just with these 2 miracles that Jesus did for Peter and his family. First, he healed his mother-in-law. So obviously he had a wife. He took pressure off of his wife, pressure off of Peter, so that he could go and do the work that God wanted him to do, to bring more people into the kingdom. But he took that pressure off of them before he even went out. And then after he did that, he went on the boat and gave them plenty of fish to eat, plenty of fish to sell, to make ends meet. For God knows the plans that he has for your life. God doesn't miss not one thing. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows every little issue that you deal with that you don't even talk about. He knows about it all. He knows every piece of, he knows the number of hairs that's on my head right now. I would never know that. He knows about it all. He loves us. He wouldn't leave us. He wouldn't bring us this far to leave us. He wouldn't allow us to go through so much and not meet us where we are. He loves us so much. But y'all, I hope this story has blessed you or blessed somebody else, because it surely blessed me. And I am going. I hope y'all have a good night. I love y'all, and bye.